Hello and good evening. Who is Timmy Donald? Timmy Donald is a African American man that spent 24 years of his life confined behind the walls of a Indiana prison system, serving 24 years of his life and returning back into society. Today, Mr. Donald is confronted with the reality that his state does not want to compensate him. What and where uh, can someone be so wrong and people's hearts be so cold that it not at least uh, compensate individuals that were mistreated by police and prosecutors? This is exactly what happened to Mr. Donald. Police and prosecutors tricked a witness. They coerced that witness and they got that witness to say what they wanted that witness to say. Uh, the facts and circumstances of what they were allowed to do contributed to Mr. Donald's conviction. Spending so many years inside of a prison and now being released, this is a man that now must survive in this society. And the laws are so wrong. Why are the laws so wrong? Here it is. This man spends 24 years of his life. I'm talking about hemmed up, treated like a dog inside of a prison system. And it's now determined to the fact where that now prosecutors dismiss the charges against him. And once he returns back to society, there's nothing for him in the state of Indiana. I'll say it again, the state of Indiana. Be on alert. Be on alert due to the fact that you don't treat human beings this way. You know that if police officers are found to have engaged into activities that have contributed to a confession or contributes to someone being coerced or contributes to someone being falsely accused and placed inside of a prison, this state must pay. The state of Indiana is a state that has basically gotten away with basically sending innocent people to prison and it not being any accountability system in play to protect the individual's best interests. I say enough is enough, and you must say enough is enough. What type of people sit on their rear end knowing that this condition exists? What type of people constantly sit back and you chit chat and you knick-knack? It's people dealing with serious, complicated issues. You ain't catching on about the things that you need to catch on to. And as a result, it's costing many people. I'm not saying that we are not trying to do our best for each and every individual. I'm saying that we are trying. However, what I am saying as well is this. When a system locks someone up and it's now determined that the police officer played some type of dirty game or dirty scheme to now contribute to that false incarceration, it must be a accountability factor held against that police department, against that city, against the state. Uh, Tim is someone that is scarred. He's scarred because this is a man that have put in literally over 100 different job applications since his release in January, and no one's called him. But everybody's out saying, well, hey, I feel sorry for these guys, and I feel sorry for what happened to this one and that one and this one. Well, you gotta face reality when you lose 2 decades of your life. Matter of fact, in Tim's situation, almost 2.5 years of his life, 1 year short of 2.5 years, and you return back into this society, man, you're a stray pawn. I'm talking about you a sucker. Because society has progressed, and it's progressed in ways in which it it works like a tarantula, like goggle, goggle, goggle. So now you're returning men that have been wounded and scarred back into this society with no way to sustain themselves. I say that the Indiana legislators, the Indiana state senators, the Indiana U.S. congressmen, the Indiana U.S. senator, as well as community organizations, as well as community leaders. Man, y'all got to get on top of this here. And when I say you got to get on top of it, it requires urgency. As statistics show that every 3 days, someone walk out of a prison that, man, they shouldn't even been in prison. I'm talking about these were convictions that were gained decades ago. And as a result of being gained decades ago, most people have literally forgotten. You know, you just sat inside of a prison and you rotted. You know, I'm not trying to conflict with anyone, but the bottom line of it is where is the integrity within our criminal justice system? Where is the integrity? I see no integrity in denying Mr. Tim Donald a job. I see no integrity in denying Mr. Tim Donald an opportunity to sustain itself in this society. I see it not as a major conflict, and basically calling out every state lawmaker in the state of Indiana until there's something done for Tim. Why Tim? Man, listen here. Let me lock you up. And that's the key. Everybody, you listen, and it's not registering here, right there. Right there. Let me lock you up. So there may be some people that are watching and they're saying, well, lock me up. Okay, well, I don't do crimes. Well, he didn't do a crime either, but he got locked up. So when that happens, it gotta be a system in play how to deal with the matter. It requires swift moving by state legislators. It requires stiff moving. I'm talking about fast, quick. Ain't no sitting around and eating steaks and going out of town and going to the best party here. All while that man's suffering. All while that man is suffering. We as a people, we gotta wise up. Victory is in us. It ain't in the politician. It's in us demanding the justice. And if we don't demand it, we get what we got coming. Then 10 years down the road, you will regret you didn't get up. So the thing about it is, the state of Indiana provides no compensation for men and women that are wrongfully convicted. I'm speaking to your heart. the entire state of Indiana, the entire Chicago, the entire Georgia, Louisiana, where Glenn Ford, man, I'm talking about he died. The man got out of prison, and when he got out of prison, uh, immediately almost, the man was suffering with cancer, and he came out and he had to experience, often in prison, guys are led to believe that they're getting poor medical treatment. Well, out here in society, ain't no different. It's the mindset of the people. So if people want to give you lesser services because of where you may reside, man, that stuff is wrong. It's a people's problem. People got to change their hearts, their minds, and their notions. Get some desire to do right. It makes no common sense here in America for so many people to keep constantly walking out of prisons. People see this stuff. They see it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. They see it on Google and just all other social media. You see it. Get a heart as if it happened to you. Then you have a different personality about these things. That's what happened. When you deal with a nation of people that have been victimized and humiliated, mm, mm, mm. Now you kick them back out in society and you say, boy, do good. Well, what good can he do? You already got all the laws sold down, saying that somebody who even went to prison, they don't care if you went and you was guilty or innocent or whatever. They just look at the fact he was in prison. So now they discriminate against you. That's Tim. That's his situation right now. You know it now. Some of you are in position to bless that man with a job and to give him an opportunity. Some of you are. Just don't be a listener or a hearer. Be a doer. Be a doer. If you want to get that man a job, ain't no sense, well, hey, I tried to reach out and I couldn't find him. Contact me. The man need a job. And if somebody out there can get that man a job, that man needs some medical treatment. That man needs some stabilization in his life. It makes no common sense for us to be sitting here talking about we have integrity when we're treating each other with less than integrity. Think about that. So I just ask that you all over the nation, that you pray for Brother Tim Donald in the state of Indiana, and pray for his strength, and pray that this catch the eyes and ears of the right people who it needs to see it. Because when it's all said and done, yeah, maybe there may be someone who steps up and said, yes, I'll help Brother Tim. Thank you. But at the end of the day, the laws must change. The laws must change, and it must change to give individuals opportunity, not take their opportunity. How it look like, okay, now you send Bob away inside of a prison because you're saying that he's sick, he committed a crime, okay, whatever he did, he got there. He serves his time, now he come out, now you want to say, well, guess what? That ain't good enough. Now you can't get a job. You people let politicians take your jobs. Many of us was in prison, wrongfully convicted, watching the decisions that many of you made. Now it's come back and it boomerang, because your son can't get no job, your aunt can't get no job, your uncle can't get no job. What type of society does that type of stuff? That's called sitting on your ass. And when you sit on your ass, then these people come out with laws that you don't like. So now they came out with some laws, guess what? That's meant to destroy you as a human race. Each and every day someone get caught up in the web of wrongful conviction. People just go on and keep partying, throwing away their money and throwing away their time, throwing away their effort, things they need to be soaking in and receiving. Man, they kick that stuff to the curb like it's a bad habit. That's what they do. That's called being naive. Integrity requires knowing what is right and then making, I didn't say asking, making the system give you what you have coming, because they ain't gonna just voluntarily give you anything. So in closing, my brothers and sisters within the church community, as many of you, Tim need a job. The man can do something. My brothers and my sisters with all of these fast food chains and you pimping and you doing your little thing, Tim need a job. My exoneree brothers who got out and you got businesses and you know that this brother need a helping hand, help your brother. That's what it's all about. Or else we turn it all into a joke. The system laugh at us because we don't know how to help each other. Think about that. Brother Tim need help. The man is someone that sat in humane conditions for 24 years of his life. 24 long, hard years inside of a cage, treated like a dog, treated like an animal. Society's response is, oh, so well. Then soon as you get through saying it, your tongue don't even dry. They get your son, or they get your daughter, or they get your nephew. And when we tell you, they were not wrongfully convicted, but they are human beings. And when they're released back into this society, they deserve a second chance. You saying, or else most of you, I don't care. Now it hits you. Now you saying, I do care. Man, we got to change our mindset. Our mindset will always imprison you. It's the mindset. What you willing to battle for? Christmas time, you willing to go battle for a toy. You'll knock each other out for a toy. Big concert coming to town, you'll knock each other out for that last ticket. But you can't knock out the system for mistreating you. Something wrong with that picture. That's called a mental mind of slavery. You can believe me or you can believe me not. When you sit back maybe 10 years from now paying $10 for a loaf of bread, paying $15 for an L ride, it's going to come. Too complacent. When you're too complacent, you get the other end of what integrity should look like. They don't have to worry about it. They living off of us. Can't you see? Can't you tell? Think about that. Think about that. Pray for Brother Tim Donald. Reach out to Brother Tim Donald. You don't have no way to him? I'll guide you to this brother. So that, guess what? So that you can help him in some type of way. He's not no stranger. You can Google his name and you can find and learn about the history of his incarceration, what led to his arrest and everything. Learn that when people are victimized by our criminal justice system, it leaves scars. Brother Tim needs our help, and we got to help him. And that goes out to all of them. Man, listen here. All the money my Facebook friends got, the 5s and 10s hid all up under your mattresses, the $2-3 over here that you wasted and all of that. Man, we got to put those $2-3 together. If one gave $3, the other gave 5, the other gave 10, the other one gave 5, the other one gave 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, that stuff adds up. And it helps to sustain At least it gives that brother opportunity to punch on through. That's what that brother needs. State of Indiana, I've said it once, I'll say it again. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. State of Indiana, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves to lock someone up for 24 years and not have nothing in play to benefit those individuals that have been affected as a result of wrongful convictions. That stuff is going to backfire on you. Trust me, if you don't get up now. There's going to be some postings and messages about how to really get involved to help Brother Tim, and how to really get involved to really start to try to build a mobilization to at least bring what is considered as the attention the state of Indiana need as far as wrongful convictions. Let me tell you, listen to me, and I'm going to be very clear about this. For years, people suffered out there in these streets. You were kids, and you found ways to survive. You found ways to make it. You didn't let somebody shortchange you, mistreat you, and put you down. So why you grow up and you change? So now your kid being victimized. Now your wife being victimized. That's what's happening. And you sitting back. Man, we got to get up. Get up. Because want me to tell you what you don't get up against? Trust me, it already got your name on it. Believe it or not. God bless you.